Hello, friends. About 99% of friends who watch my videos are not subscribed, and I would be very happy if you did. Also, don't forget to press the like button and leave your comments. Your interaction makes the content reach everyone and helps the channel grow. Also, let me know in the comments from which country you are watching the video. You ever hear the sound of something breathing when there ain't supposed to be anything there? I mean real heavy, ragged breathing, like something's just out of sight watching you, waiting. I swear to you, buddy, that was the first sign something was dead wrong that night. Now, before I jump deep into it, let me tell you I ain't the superstitious type. I've been driven rigs for over 20 years, crossed every damn highway from coast to coast, seen just about every kind of crazy you can. Think of road rage, accidents, wildlife, drunks, you name it. But nothing, I mean nothing, prepared me for what I'm about to tell you. It all started one cold, foggy night on a Highway 377. Folks round here whisper about that stretch. Call it cursed, haunted, whatever. Me? I thought it was just truck stop gossip. You know how drivers ain't nothing like swapping spooky stories over coffee and burnt pie at 2 a.m. But man, let me tell you, I was dead wrong. I was running a late load out of Amarillo, headed down toward Lubbock. Got a heads up from dispatch about a nasty wreck on I-27, so they routed me through the back highways. That's when I hit 377. Soon as my tires rolled onto that asphalt, the CB went fuzzy, static, not a soul in sight, not even headlights in my mirrors, like the whole damn world just disappeared. And that's when I heard it. That breathing, heavy, raspy, like someone or something was sitting in the cab with me. I glanced over my shoulder, half expecting to see a hitchhiker somehow snuck in without me noticing. But nope, seat was empty. But that breathin', it got louder, closer. I turned up the radio trying to drown it out, but even old Yell Merle Haggard couldn't cover it. Then the smell hit me, rotten, like wet dog mixed with spoiled meat. Made my eyes water. That's when I noticed something. In my side mirror, a shadow. Not on the road. No, this thing was moving with my truck. Same speed, same pace, dark, tall. I couldn't make out no details, just this figure lurching along the side of my trailer like it was gliding. My skin went cold. I tapped the brakes, trying to get a better look. Whatever it was, it stopped too. Stopped dead. Like it knew what I was doing. And then, swear to God, it grinned. Not a normal grin. Nah, I ain't talking teeth and lips. This was a split like someone tearing open a burlap sack. Wide, too wide. Right across where a face should be. That shadow just stood there, smiling. That impossible smile. I mashed the gas. Ain't proud to admit it, but I was shacking. Hands gripping that wheel so tight, my knuckles turned white. But the thing didn't fall behind. No, sir. It kept pace. Sometimes it'd vanish for a second. Then bam there, it was on the other side, like it was playing with me. I kept telling myself it was just my eyes playing tricks. Fog messing with the lights. Maybe I was overtired. But deep down, I knew better. I ain't the type to scare easy. I mean, hell, I once drove through a tornado, but this was something else entirely. The worst part, the road just wouldn't end. My GPS froze. Mile markers stopped showing up. It felt like I was stuck in some kind of loop. Just me. The fog And I kept my foot slammed on that gas pedal, engine groaning like it was begging for mercy. But no matter how fast I went, that stretch of road stretched right along with me. Ain't no exits, no turns, not even a damn shoulder to pull over. On, just this endless suffocating fog and that thing. I glanced in the mirrors again. hopin' prayin' it was gone. But buddy, let me tell you, it wasn't. This time, it was closer. Real close. I could make out its arms, if you can even call them that. Long, bony ... They hung down past its knees, fingers like crooked branches, dragging along the asphalt, but never making a sound. Not a scrape, not a shuffle, nothing. Just dead silence, except for my own breathin' and the scream of my tires against that cursed highway. Then my headlights caught something ahead. A figure, standing right in the middle of the road. I yanked the wheel hard, trying to swerve, tires screeching, trailer swinging like it was ready to jackknife. My heart nearly punched a hole through my rib cage. But the moment I swerved, that figure vanished. Just poof, gone like smoke. And the second it disappeared from the front, there it was perched right on top of my hood. I ain't kiddin'. This thing was squatting there, grinning that slick grin. Eyes. Oh God, them eyes. Blacker than the bottom of the ocean. No pupils, no whites, just voids, like starless holes burning straight into me. I could feel its gaze. Not just on my skin inside. Like it was peeling back every memory, every sin, every regret I ever had. I stomped on the brakes. Truck lurching so hard my head smacked the wheel. The thing didn't even budge. It just tilted its head, watching me like some kind of sick, curious predator. I fumbled for anything, a wrench, a flashlight, something, to defend myself. But before I could grab it, the lights flickered. The dash lit up red. Check engine. ABS failure. Oil pressure. Every damn light lit up at once, like Christmas in hell. And then the engine cut. Dead. No power. No lights, nothing. Just me, sitting dead in the water on that endless strip of cursed highway, with whatever this thing was still sitting on my hood, staring at me. I locked the door, stupid. I know, but instinct kicked in. My hands were shacking so bad, I could barely hold my phone. No signal. Figures. Not even a single bar. And that breathin', God help me, that breathin' got louder. It wasn't just coming from the hood now. It was behind me. In the sleeper cab. I whipped my head around and saw the curtain slowly, ever so slowly, start to pull back, like someone or something was peeking out from the dark. I swear to you, buddy, my blood turned to ice right then and there. I sat frozen, hands white-knuckled on the wheel, staring at that curtain as it eased back inch by inch. The breathin'. It wasn't just heavy anymore, it was wet, ragged, like something was barely holding itself together, wheezing through shredded lungs or torn flesh. I wanted to reach for the door handle, fling myself out, but my body wouldn't move. It was like I was pinned, held there by something heavier than fear itself. Then I saw it. A hand, or what looked like one. Long, twisted fingers, joints bent the wrong way, skin stretched thin over bones like wax over wire. Black, cracked nails scraped softly against the metal frame of the sleeper. And buddy, the smell that poured out of there was damn near enough to knock me out. Rotten meat, mold, wet earth, death, pure, suffocating death. That thing on the hood suddenly snapped its head toward the sleeper, like it was answering something, or maybe talking to something. Its grin widened, if you can believe. That, the slit stretching down near ear to ear, or where ears should have been. I was trapped between two nightmares. The one staring at me from the hood, and the one crawling out from behind that curtain. My hands finally jolted back to life, scrambling for the key, even though the engine was dead, like somehow if I just turned it, everything to go back to normal. Click, click, nothing. The dashboard stayed dark. The figure on the hood pressed its face against the windshield, that black void of its mouth widening, fogging the glass with every ragged breath. And then From behind me, a voice, low, broken, like a whisper dragging itself through gravel. Let me drive. I spun around so fast I nearly snapped my own neck. And right there, halfway crawled out of the sleeper, was this thing. Skin like torn leather, stretched too tight over bones, its mouth split open in jagged pieces. No lips, no tongue, just a black hole where a mouth should be. Empty eye sockets that somehow still watched me. Its hands gripped the back of my seat, fingers digging into the fabric like claws. Let me drive. It hissed again, louder, more desperate, like it was begging or commanding. I kicked backward with everything I had, connecting with something soft, wet, even. It shrieked a sound I'll never forget. Not human, not animal, just wrong. The thing on the hood vanished in an instant, like it got yanked into the fog, and the one in the sleeper? It scurried back behind the curtain, so fast you'd think it melted into the shadows. And then everything went dead silent. Not a sound, no breathing, no whispering, just stillness. And without warning, the engine roared back to life. Dash lights blinked back on. Headlights cut through the fog. GPS rerouted. And just like that, the road was normal again. Like nothing ever happened. Like it was all in my damn head. But lemme tell ya, the claw marks on my seat said otherwise. I didn't waste a single second. Slammed that rig into gear and floored it. Tires spitting gravel as I tore down that highway like the devil himself was chomping at my bumper. My hands were shaking, so bad I could barely hold the wheels straight. Eyes flicking between the road, the mirrors, and that cursed sleeper curtain that still hung half open like an open mouth, waiting to swallow me whole. Every bump in the road, every shadow in the fog had my heart jumping into my throat. But the worst part, buddy, was that I knew deep down it wasn't over, not even close. About 20 minutes later, when my pulse started to come down from 100 miles an hour, I noticed something strange. The fog wasn't letting up. Usually out here, the mist starts breaking once you get closer to town, or climb a little higher on the grade. But this, it was getting thicker, denser. Headlights barely reached more than 10 feet in front of me. My radio, dead silent. CB, nothing but static. GPS, glitching like crazy arrows spinning in circles like I was driven in place. No street names, no markers. Just that little gray line saying I was still on Highway 377, but with no end in sight. And then I noticed the signs, not the normal kind. These were wrong. First one said, "Turn back." Big, crooked letters spray-painted right across an old rusted sheet of metal, hammered into the dirt off the side of the road. I blinked, rubbed my eyes, thinking maybe I was just seeing things. But less than a mile later, there was another. "You shouldn't be here." Spray paint again, red this time. Looked fresh, looked wet. The letters dripped like the paint was still running. Another 100 yards. Stay out. And then the last one. Buddy, this one still makes my skin crawl. Right in the middle of the highway, a big wooden sign stood propped up on 2 busted tires. Written in big jagged letters, looked like it was scratched in with a knife or something. It read, "You can't leave." That's when I slammed the brakes. Hard. Trailer fishtailed behind me, rubber screeching. I stared at that sign, my breath fogging the windshield, and that's when I noticed. The road didn't continue. Right beyond that sign was just empty. A straight drop, like the road just ended. No warning. No barricades, no shoulder. Just cracked asphalt that broke off into nothing but blackness below. I shoved the gear into reverse, heart hammering, ready to back the hell out of there when the sound started again. That breathing, But this time, it wasn't outside. It wasn't behind me. It was right next to me. In the damn passenger seat. I swear to you, buddy, I didn't even want to turn my head. Every instinct in my body was screaming, don't look. Don't look. Don't you dare look. But you know how it is when something's staring at you. You can feel it. Like ice pressing against your skin. The breathing was slow, raspy, gurgling, like something was sucking air through a busted windpipe. I gripped the wheel so tight I thought it'd snap clean off. Eyes locked straight ahead. Refused to glance right. But then, I caught it. Out of the corner of my eye. Just a shape. Pale. Thin. Like someone sitting there real still. At first, I tried to convince myself. Maybe it's just my jacket tossed over the seat. Maybe I forgot something. But no. Nah. The shape shifted. Slow. Deliberate. Something long and bony dragged across the vinyl seat with a soft scratching sound. That's when the smell hit again. Worse than before. Rot. Decay. Like a pile of roadkill left out in the summer sun for days. I couldn't take it anymore. My head snapped to the side before I could stop myself and Buddy. I'll never forget what I saw sitting there. Skin. Wasn't right. Translucent. Grayish. Stretched so tight over bones you could see every ridge, every socket, every crack. Its head was tilted at this impossible angle, chin nearly touching its collarbone. Mouth hanging open in a silent scream, jaw unhinged wider than it should have been. And the eyes. Jesus, the eyes. Hollow, black, bottomless pits that stared right through me like I wasn't nothing but meat strapped to a steering wheel. It didn't move at first, just sat there, watching, breathing. Then, real slow, its hands started rising, long fingers. 6 of them, not 5. Crooked and twitching, reached for the dash like it was trying to grab something. And then, in this voice, this broken, gurgly whisper, it said, keep, driven, don't, stop. My chest felt like it caved in. I slammed the gear shift into reverse, floored it so hard I thought the tires explode. The rig screeched backward, trailer swinging wildly, but I didn't care. Just needed distance. Needed out, but the second them back tires hit the asphalt behind me, the fog shifted, rolled away, like a curtain being pulled back. And what was there nearly made my heart stop. The road behind me was gone. It was never there. Just endless woods, thick, black, trees twisted in shapes that ain't natural, branches knotted like hands reaching out. No road, no path, just forest. I slammed the brakes. Truck slid sideways, damn near tipped it. And that's when I realized I was trapped. Completely, utterly trapped. I sat there, gripping the wheel like it was the only thing tethering me to reality, staring out at that wall of twisted trees and suffocating fog, heart jackhammering against my chest. The thing sitting in my passenger seat didn't move. It just sat there, breathing, slow, heavy. Every now and then, its fingers would twitch like it was fighting the urge to reach for me. I could hear its joints creaking like old leather stretched too tight, and every breath dragged through its hollow throat sounded like wind whistling through a broken bottle. I threw the truck back in drive, tires spinning against the cracked asphalt, but the wheels weren't catching. Like the road itself turned to something else, something soft. I glanced down at the gauge cluster oil pressure, battery, check engine, all blinking red again. But one more caught my eye. The odometer. It wasn't read in miles anymore. No numbers. Just letters slowly scrawling across the screen. Stay. Then it flashed again. Forever. My stomach nodded. I slammed the pedal down anyway. And this. Time the tires gripped launching me forward, straight toward that forest. Except, as soon as I hit what should have been dirt, the trees. They started moving, shifting, opening up, like they were parting just for me. But it didn't feel like no welcome party. Nah, this was a trap. I knew it. The further I drove, the darker it got. My headlights didn't even reach the edges. Just blackness pressing in on all sides, trees twisting and bending in ways no tree should. Some of them had knots shaped like faces, mouths hanging open, eyes hollow and stretched wide, like they were screaming. Or maybe watching. And the further I went, the louder it got. Not engines, not wind, but voices, whispering, chanting. Layers and layers of raspy whispers, all blending together, like wind through dead leaves. Couldn't make out the words. Didn't wanna. And the CB crackled to life. After being dead this whole time, it suddenly screamed with static, followed by this garbled voice, barely recognizable, but clear enough to make my blood freeze. Turn around, before. It's too late. It said, but here's the thing. It was my voice. Swear to God, buddy. My own voice. Like a recording of me warning myself. But I ain't never said that. Not once. I snatched the mic, yelled, "Who is this?" Static, crackle, then that same voice, but this time. Broken, crying. It's already behind you. I jerked my head toward the mirrors, and there it was. Something stepping out from between the trees. Tall, taller than the truck. Limbs thin as telephone poles. Skin like paper stretched over sticks. No face, just a gaping hole where the head should be. And inside that hole, teeth, rows, endless rows of teeth, spiraling deep into that void. It leaned down, hands planted on both sides of the road, blocking the way forward. I had nowhere to go. Not forward, not back. And that thing was coming closer. I slammed the rig in reverse, tires screeching. But the second I did, the trees behind me closed in like jaws snapping shut. Branches twisted together, knotting into solid walls of black wood, leaving me boxed in with this nightmare, crawling toward me. Its hands dragged trenches into the cracked asphalt as it pulled itself closer, fingers longer than telephone poles, joints bending the wrong way like snapped elbows. And that mouth, buddy, that gaping hole full of teeth, was open wider now, spiraling into pitch-black nothing, humming with this low, guttural rumble that vibrated through my bones. The breathing beside me grew louder, more frantic. That thing in the passenger seat started twitching, jittering like a puppet with its strings yanked. Its crooked fingers tapped at the dashboard in this weird, rhythmic pattern, like it was counting, or signaling something. Then, for the first time since it appeared, it turned its head slow toward me, neck cracking like dry wood. Keep. Driven. It rasped again, mouth stretching unnaturally wide, black ooze dripping from its jaw onto the floor mat. Or, it ... eats ... double quotes my hands fumbled, scrambling for anything. Gear shifter, door handle, air horn, nothing worked. None of it mattered. The engine sputtered like it was trying to stall, dashboard lights flickering like a heartbeat, slow in single quotes, ... dying. And that's when I realized, ... the wheel. The wheel was moving, by itself, spinning, turning to ... without my hands on it. The truck lurched to the side, not forward, not back, down. The asphalt cracked beneath the tires, gave way, like a trapdoor opening under me, and the whole rig dropped nose first into pitch black. My stomach hit my throat, metal screeching, glass rattling, the trailer flipping. Up behind me as gravity yanked me down into this ... this hole. Only it wasn't just dark ... it was alive. Something was down there. I could feel it, hear it, whispering, crawling, moving just beyond the reach of the headlights. their shapes flickering in and out of the beam like shadows swimming through water. Faces, hands, hollow eyes staring, mouths opening and closing, but making no sound. And then thud. The truck landed hard. Everything went black for a second. Dust, smoke, metal hissing. I coughed, slamming my fist into the ignition out of pure panic, and somehow, someway, the engine kicked back to life. The headlights flickered on, and what they lit up, buddy, I swear on my life, was a road made of bones. Crushed. Skulls, femurs, ribs, all mashed together into this pale, brittle path stretching forward into a tunnel of writhen flesh and bone. The walls weren't walls. They were bodies, melted together, squirming, breathing. Some had eyes. Some didn't. Some were screaming, but no sound came out. Just mouths open wide, frozen mid-scream like statues carved out of pain itself. The thing sitting next to me? It grinned. Real slow, real wide. Welcome ... It rasped, pointing one crooked finger down that hellish road. You ... Ow. My hands were trembling, so bad I could barely grip the wheel, but I didn't have much choice. That road, the one made of bones and bodies, it stretched out ahead like it had no end. Like it led straight into the belly of hell itself. And the second I hesitated, the thing sitting next to me cocked its head real slow, those hollow sockets sinking deeper, blacker, until it was like looking into a bottomless pit. Drive ... or be part of ... the road, it hissed, each word leakier than the last, like its lungs were falling apart as it spoke. I slammed my foot down on the gas. Tires spun, crunching against brittle bones that snapped like dry twigs beneath the weight of the rig. The engine roared louder than it ever had, struggling against God knows what kind of force was trying to hold me back. And buddy, as the headlights cut forward into that nightmare, I saw him. Faces. Hundreds of them. Maybe thousands. Pushing up from the road. Some fresh, some rotten. Some so old they were just skulls with the faintest traces of flesh still clinging. On. And every single one of single quotes M ... was screaming. Mouths stretched open wider than any human mouth should ever go. Eyes flickering, some crying, some hollow, and the sound. It wasn't in my ears. It was in my head. This god-awful chorus of begging, pleading, help me ... help me. Don't leave me ... please ... over and over like a broken record stuck on suffering. I tried to shut it out, cranked the radio, punched the dash. Nothing worked. Their voices were inside me, inside my skull. The thing in. The passenger seat started laughing. This dry, wheezing, crackling cackle like bones rattling in a bag. Faster ... faster ... It croaked, smacking its twisted hand against the dash like it was egging me on. I glanced at the speedometer. It wasn't showing numbers no more. Just this glitchy, flickering word ... deeper. Every time the needle climbed, it flashed. Deeper, deeper, over and over. And the road? It started changing. The bones melted into flesh. The wheels thumped and bumped over veins as thick as fire hoses, beating in rhythm like a giant heart buried beneath the earth. Pulsing, breathing, the smell. Oh God, the smell was suffocating. Blood, rot, burnt meat. Sulfur, like the whole place was a wound that never healed. And up ahead, ... saw something. A shape, big, moving, crawling across the road. At first, I thought it was an overturned truck. But no. It was something alive, massive, bloated, legs like tree trunks, arms longer than telephone poles, dragging claws through the flesh road like it owned the place. And stitched across its belly ... were faces. Hundreds, maybe thousands. All stitched. Together, mouths open, screaming, crying, eyes blinking. But no sound came out. It was blocking the road completely. I slammed the brakes, tires slipping on wet, pulsing tissue. The thing beside me leaned in real close, jaw unhinging wider than any jaw should, tripping black ooze onto my lap as it whispered, "This ... is where ... the toll must be paid." I gripped that wheel so tight, I thought my knuckles might pop. Clean out of the skin, staring dead ahead at that bloated, crawling nightmare sprawled across the road. Its arms were dragging deep trenches through the pulsing, meat-like ground, claws slicing through veins like wet paper. The stitched faces across its belly were writhing, blinking, mouths open in silent screams, some still dripping fresh blood, like they were just added to that grotesque patchwork. The thing's massive head swung toward me. No eyes, just a gaping, wet hole, pulsing with breath like a wound that never closed. And from inside that hole, ... dozens of smaller hands pushed out. Tiny, broken fingers reaching, clawing, desperate. "Pay the toll ... The thing in my passenger seat hissed, voice low, and crackling, almost gleeful. Or ... become the road. I slammed the shifter into reverse, instinctively forgetting, for a second, there was nowhere to go. And sure enough, the second my tires spun backward, the road behind me split open. A wide gash tore itself through the bone and flesh, teeth sprouting. Along the edges like a mouth, slamming shut behind me with a wet crunch. No way back, only forward. My heart was pounding so loud, it felt like my own chest was going to split open like the road. "What do you want from me?" I screamed, slamming both fists against the wheel. The thing sitting beside me leaned in closer. Its face, or what was left of one, so close I could smell the rot seeping out of its pores. "The highway ... remembers ... It rasped. It keeps ... what's lost. It feeds ... Then it tilted its head toward the stitched-together beast, blocking the road, and in a voice barely above a whisper, it said, "Pick ... all quotes." My eyes scanned frantically, looking for anything. A way out. A gap. Something. But there wasn't none. That's when I noticed the dashboard. Where the GPS screen used to be, there were pictures now. Faces. Photos. People. Some I recognized, truckers I'd seen over the years. Folks from truck stops ... and some I swear I'd seen. On missing posters plastered on gas station walls across every damn highway in the country. Under each picture, 2 buttons flashed. Spare and take. My stomach twisted into knots. Pick. The thing rasped again, now grinning so wide. The skin split from jaw to cheek, dripping black sludge down onto its chest. Pick ... or it takes ... you. My fingers hovered over the screen, trembling. I can't. I stammered, but the rig shook violently. The massive beast ahead started slamming its fists into the ground, split mouths screaming in silence. Tremors shacking through my spine. The button for take started flashing red, beeping faster, louder, and that's when I realized ... The highway wasn't just haunted ... It was hungry. My chest tightened, breath shallow, palms soaked in sweat as my fingers hovered over that cursed screen. Each photo stared back at me, some with tired, worn faces of old truckers, others younger, wide-eyed, like they ain't never expected to. And up here, underneath every single face, spare or take. The rig rattled violently again, the stitched beast ahead letting out this horrid, wet groan as it dragged itself closer, massive claws slapping into the pulsing meat road, dragging. Open gashes that bled rivers of black sludge. The thing sitting next to me grinned wider, that jaw stretching so far, the skin split right down to its collarbones, oozing thick, black ichor onto the floorboards. Pick, dot, dot, dot. It hissed, one long finger bent backwards at every joint tapping. The screen with a wet, sticky sound. Pick, dot, dot. Or you dot, dot, dot become dot, dot the toll. I stared, paralyzed, eyes flicking between the faces, heart pounding so hard I could hear the blood slamming in my ears. I can single quotes T dot dot dot. I choked out, hands shacking. I ain't choosing nobody. Suddenly, the screen flickered, glitched, new. Photos started flashing people I knew personally. Friends, dispatchers, old buddies I'd hauled loads with. Then, dot dot dot. One face made my blood go cold. Mine, my own photo. Right there, under it, spare and take. Choose dot dot. Or the road chooses. The thing wheezed, its split mouth trembling, its black, empty eyes locking onto mine like two holes drilling straight. Through my soul. The beast ahead bellowed, that gaping stomach mouth stretching wider, teeth glinting in the beams of my dimming headlights. I snapped. Fine. I roared, fist slamming the dash. Fine, take me. Take me. Leave him. Alone. The second my finger smashed that take button under my own photo, the dashboard sparked, lights flickered, the whole truck jolted, metal screamed, glass shattered, and from all sides, the road opened up, not cracks, not potholes, mouths. Dozens dot 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 hundreds of mouths tore through the flesh road, jagged teeth snapping and grinding as black worm-like tongues lashed out, smacking against the tires, the grill, the mirrors. The stitched beast let out a shriek so loud it vibrated my bones, then dragged itself backward, melting into the walls of writhen flesh like it was never there. And the road began moving. Not the truck, the road itself, shifted, warping, curling under my wheels like a conveyor belt, dragging me deeper whether I wanted it or not. The thing in the passenger seat leaned back, tilting its head like a curious crow. Brave dot dot. It croaked. Stupid dot dot, but dot dot brave. It tapped the windshield. Black ooze drip drip dripping from its fingers. Look dot 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 double quotes my eyes followed. And that's when I saw it. Up ahead dot 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 was a city. Not one like you'd know. Not buildings. Not lights. Just dot 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 structures. Towers made of bone. Bridges woven from muscle and sinew. Streets paved with skulls. Creatures crawled across the facades, some spider-like, some floating, some slithering through the air like smoke. The sky, buddy, the sky wasn't sky at all. It was dot 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 flesh, wholesome, wrethen, a giant membrane stretched across the horizon, veins the size of highways pumping some thick dark fluid across its surface. And in the middle of it all, dot 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 a hole, perfectly round, spiraling, going straight up into nothing, or maybe straight down into hell. The thing beside me licked its broken lips and whispered, "Welcome dot dot to the mile marker, where the lost dot 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 stay lost forever." I couldn't breathe, couldn't think. My brain was screaming at me to wake up, to snap out of it, to tell myself this was just some god-awful nightmare. But buddy, I knew. This was real. As real as the wheel I was clutching like my life depended on it, as real as the black ooze dripping from the thing sitting next to me. So close I could hear the skin on its face stretch every time it grinned. The rig rumbled forward on. Its own now pedal wasn't pressed. Hands weren't on the wheel. The road dragged me straight toward that city, if you could even call it that. Towers of bone twisted together like ribs from a giant skeleton long dead. Archways made of snapped spines, some still twitching, some bleeding black sludge onto the street below. Bridges dangling from tangled ligaments, swaying in a wind that didn't exist. And the creatures, Jesus, the creatures, crawling. Along the sides of the bone towers were these pale, faceless things, their arms too long, knees bent backward, moving like spiders, but made of stretched flesh and crooked limbs. Some floated, bloated sacks of skin with gaping mouths stretched across their bellies, sucking the air like they were breathing in souls. Others dragged themselves on the ground limbless, faceless, nothing but lumps of meat with mouths, where mouths shouldn't be. Their voices ... a low hum, a constant chant. Layers of whispers, like 1,000 voices speaking at once, but never saying nothing you could understand. The thing beside me chuckled, voice splintered like broken. Glass, most ... don't make it. This far ... It wheezed, oozing black fluid down its chest, fingers tapping the dash like it was drumming a tune only it could hear. But you ... oh ... you're a good driver ... Its head literally spun right around on its neck, cracking, like twisting wet branches, then snapped back into place as it grinned wider. They're waiting ... I leaned forward, peering through the grime-smeared windshield, and that's when I saw figures standing along the sides of the road as I entered the city, lined up like some sick parade. Some had no faces. Some had too many. Some wore skin-like cloaks, stitched together with what looked like barbed wire. And all of them, every single one, were truckers. I recognized M, not personally. But you drive long enough ... you memorize the faces on the missing posters. The ones pinned up on truck stop bulletin boards. The faded, rain-stained flyers stuck on telephone poles. Missing. Last seen on Highway 377. I'd seen M 100 times. Never thought twice. Never imagined this is where they ended up. They stood silent, watching, waiting, their hollow eyes following as the rig rolled deeper into that twisted city where the road split in every direction, like veins leading to the heart of Va. Something foul, and up ahead ... there it was. A gate, massive, towering, made entirely of jawbones. Hundreds of thousands, all locked together, opening and closing like it was breathing. The thing beside me pointed one broken finger at it, voice like nails dragging over glass. Mile marker 0 ... It hissed, every lost soul, every cursed driver passes through here. Sooner or later ... the gate cracked open, and the road pulled me straight through ... as the gate yawned open. Those jawbones clacking together like 1,000 teeth grinding in anticipation. The sound hit me in the chest deep, rattling like standing next to a freight train made of bone. The moment my rig crossed that threshold, the air changed. Got heavy, dense, like breathing through wet concrete. The road beneath my tires shifted, no longer bones, no longer flesh. Something else, something alive. Veins pulsed beneath. Translucent skin stretched tight across the road. Every bump sending vibrations through the cab, like driven across the chest of something still breathing. The city surrounded me now, closer, suffocating. Towers leaned inward, like crooked fingers ready to grab me. Shapes crawled up and down. Some screeching, some wailing in silence. Mouths opened so wide their jaws snapped and hung limp, swinging. Like broken gates. The smell ... dear God. The smell was thick. Blood, burnt hair, mold, death. It coated my tongue, seeped into my pores, burned behind my eyes. I gagged, wiping at my face like I could scrub it off. The thing sitting in my passenger seat never stopped grinning. Its hollow sockets never blinked, never wavered, just staring. Staring like it was drinking in every ounce of terror pouring off me. Almost there, dot, dot. It rasped, one hand dragging slow circles on the dusty dashboard, leaving behind a smear of that same black sludge. Almost dot, dot, dot to dispatch, dot, dot, dot. Dispatch? I barked, voice cracking, half between laughing and screaming. What the hell are you talking about? Its head tilted, bones cracking, a gurgle spilling from its throat that sounded halfway like laughing. Every highway has dispatch, dot, dot, double quotes it crooned, even dot, dot. The lost ones. Up ahead, the road split. 5 different lanes peeling off in different directions, each leading into something worse than the last. The far left? Nothing but fire. Black flames pouring from cracks in the ground, something huge moving through the smoke, screaming. The next lane over? A bridge, dot, 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 made of spines, dot, dot. Swinging over a bottomless pit, faces screaming from the vertebrae as they twisted and snapped. The middle road led straight into a tunnel, dot, dot. But not a tunnel built by hands. No, buddy. This was a throat. Flesh walls flexing, contracting like it was breathing. The whole thing dripping with something thick and dark. 4th road? A field. At least, it looked like a field. Until you saw the shapes. Thousands of them. Bodies piled, moving, crawling, reaching, hands clawing at the sky like they were begging for anyone to pull them out. And the far right road, that one chilled me worst of all. It was just dot, dot, dot a mirror. A perfect reflection of the road I'd come in on. Same rig, same gate, same cursed sky of flesh overhead. B.U.T. no driver. Just an empty truck, dot, dot. Rolling on. Its own. Pick, dot, dot. The thing beside me whispered, voice thin as thread, snapping with static. Dispatch, dot, 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 waits, dot, dot, dot. My hands shook, gripping the wheel so tight the skin stretched over my knuckles. And if I don't pick? I growled, though it came out quieter than I meant. The thing turned its head slow, dot, 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 till it was facing me full on. Then the road, dot, dot, picks, dot, dot, you. My gut twisted so tight, I thought it might fold in on itself. I stared down each of those nightmare roads, heart pounding, sweat pouring down my face, hands glued to the wheel like it was the only thing tethering me to the world of the living. Each path felt wrong, felt cursed, like choosing any of them meant signing my own death warrant or worse. The thing sitting beside me shifted, its crooked neck cracking, limbs twitching like a broken marionette. Times. Titchkeen driver, it rasped, its empty sockets sinking deeper into the folds of its half-melted face. Dispatch, dot, dot. DOESN, single quotes T, dot, 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 wait, dot, dot, forever. I gritted my teeth, glance snapping back and forth between those 5 twisted paths. My hands trembled as I fought the instinct to just slam the gear into reverse and punch it. But I knew damn well there was no reverse here. There never was. I stared longest at that far right road, the one that looked like a mirror of the road I'd come from. A truck, dot, 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 my truck, dot, dot. Rolling driverless down that endless stretch. Something about it made my skin crawl worse than the others. Like it wasn't just a trick. It was a warning. A glimpse of what happens when the road chooses for you. Fine, dot, dot, dot. I growled, throat dry like sandpaper. Fine, dot, 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 I pick. The thing beside me grinned so wide, its jaw split down the middle, flesh. Tearing, strings of black sludge stretching between the pieces like rotten glue. Good, dot, dot. It hissed, its fingers drumming faster now, jittery, excited. Good, dot, 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 pick, dot, dot, dot. I yanked the wheel hard left, straight toward the tunnel, the one that looked like a throat, breathing, pulsating, flexing like something alive and hungry. The second the wheels touched the fleshy entrance, the rig jolted, metal groaned. Tires. Stuck against the slick, wet surface, But momentum dragged me forward, like I'd been hooked by something bigger than the truck itself. A mouth, yeah, it was a mouth snapped shut behind me. Darkness swallowed the truck whole. The only light now came from the weak flickering of the headlights, glinting off walls lined with teeth. Long rows of jagged, broken, yellow teeth, some still dripping with something thick and black. The walls of the tunnel pulsed around me, squeezing, flexing. Every few feet, the ceiling dripped. Flesh trembled like it was holding back something deeper, meaner. The CB radio crackled. Out of nowhere, a voice, warped, distorted, but clear enough to freeze my damn soul. Unit 77, report. It croaked, layered with static, and this low rumbling growl, like 100 voices stacked together. Report to dispatch, manifest, overdue. Manifest, overdue. What manifest? I barked into the mic, knuckles white. I ain't hauling nothing but terror right now. Static, crackle, then, incorrect, double quotes, the tunnel trembled. The wheel yanked itself right, slamming me into the fleshy wall, teeth scrapping. Along the side of the trailer, screeching loud enough to drown out my own screams. Then something massive slammed onto the roof. Heavy, wet, crawling, multiple limbs scuttling across the metal. Then a slow, heavy thump, 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 like footsteps above me. The thing in the passenger seat giggled. Manifest, arrived, It wheezed, eyes glinting with sick delight. Time. To meet, dispatch. The roof groaned under the weight of whatever nightmare was crawling up there. Every thump sending vibrations through the cab straight into my chest. I gripped the wheel tighter, slamming my foot down even though the rig seemed to be driven itself now. The tunnel walls squeezed tighter, pulsing, wet, breathing like lungs on all sides. My mirrors were useless, just streaked with black ichor, and shadows twisting past too fast to focus on. The CB crackled again, but this time, the voice was different, deeper, rough, like metal grinding against metal, layered over the sound of bones snapping. Unit 77, arrival confirmed. Proceed to dock, Dock? I barked. What the hell kind of dock is in a place like this? My voice cracked, chest tight, lungs barely pooling in the thick, humid air that tasted like copper and rot. A thing in my passenger seat started laughing, high-pitched, wheezing, sputtering like it was choking on its own bile. You'll see, It hissed, fingers twitching, skin splitting at the knuckles as dark fluid seeped from the cracks. Suddenly, the tunnel opened up, wide, like driven out a throat into something massive. An endless cavern, if you could even call it that. The ceiling wasn't a ceiling. It was a sky of flesh stretching in every direction. Arteries the size of highways throbbing overhead, pumping thick streams of some dark, sludgy fluid. And down below, were docks. Miles of them. Concrete slabs sticking out over a pit that went down into pure black so deep you couldn't see nothing. Lined up on those docks were trucks. Hundreds, thousands, some like mine. Some older rusted, relics from decades past. Some twisted, warped. No longer trucks at all, but creatures made of steel, flesh, and bone. Trailers fused with rib cages, tires replaced with jagged legs, headlights replaced with hollow eyes that flickered. And every single one of them was hauling. Some trailers were clear glass stretched over frames of bone, and inside, Jesus. Inside were people, trapped, pounding, screaming, faces I recognized, people from truck stops, from gas stations, even even faces from those damn missing posters. Others were hauling worse. Things that shifted, twisted, black shapes swimming in tar, slamming against the sides of their containers, like they were trying to break out. The CB crackled again. Unit 77, Dock 13, unload ... I barely noticed the wheel turning itself, dragging me toward a dock marked with a crooked, rotted sign. 13. The rig slowed, brakes hissing, trailer groaning like it didn't want to be here either. I slammed the gear into park, breathing heavy, staring out at the platform ahead. At the end of the dock was a booth. A dispatch booth. But the thing inside ... wasn't human, not even close. A massive figure slumped over a desk made of welded bone and sinew, skin hanging off its frame like curtains of rotted meat. Its head was a mass of wires, broken horns, and stitched faces that blinked. Its arms were long, too long, fingers like crowbars, bones poking through gray flesh as it scribbled on a clipboard with a quill made of a snapped femur. One of its stitched mouths opened, drooling thick strings of black ooze as it rasped into a mic. Unit 77. Manifest. Overdue ... unload now ... or forfeit ... The thing in my passenger seat leaned close, whispering real slow. Better ... open ... The trailer ... My hands were shaking like never before, palms slick with sweat, heart slamming so hard against my ribs, it felt like it was trying to punch its way out of my chest. I stared back through the side mirror at that trailer, at those warped, twisted doors lined with deep scratches, some that looked way too much like fingernail marks dragged across steel. The thing sitting next to me, still oozing black sludge from every crack in its rotten skin, leaned in real close, jaw hanging loose, dripping onto my shoulder. Open ... the trailer ... It croaked, voice buzzing like a busted speaker. Or dispatch. Opens it ... for you ... I swallowed, hands trembling as I reached for the release lever. God help me ... I muttered. The second I yanked it, the locks snapped free with a sick, wet crack, and those doors, those cursed, dented doors, swung open with a screech that rattled every damn bolt in the truck. What spilled out wasn't cargo, wasn't freight, wasn't nothing that should ever be behind a man's rig. A wave of black mist exploded from the trailer, howling like it had lungs of its own, and from inside ... shapes, dozens, maybe, hundreds, twisted, mangled, some crawling, some floating, some slithering like they ain't ever had bones to begin with. Their faces, if you could even call 'em faces ... stretched, melted. Some had jaws where eyes should be. Others had empty sockets spilling black sludge that sizzled as it hit the dock. They poured out like floodwater, rushing toward the dispatch booth. The stitched-up dispatcher didn't even flinch. One of its massive arms reached out, grabbing a screaming, thrashing thing by its head, snapping it like it was a damn twig before, scribbling something down on that clipboard made of bone and skin. Manifest received ... It rasped, its stitched mouths whispering over each other in layers. Processing. Unit 77 remains ... pending ... double quotes, my gut dropped. Pending? I barked, snapping my head toward the thing in the passenger seat. What the hell does that mean? I did what you asked. I opened it. I ain't got nothing left in there. It smiled. Oh God, that smile. Its lips split ear to ear, skin tearing. Like wet paper, cheeks flapping as a low, guttural giggle spilled out. Oh ... but driver ... It rasped, tapping the dash with those crooked fingers. The rig ... is empty now, but you single quotes still ... quotes. My blood turned to ice. What? I whispered. The dispatcher's stitched faces blinked in unison. Its mouths opened together, Droolin' strings of black ooze as it growled. Unit 77. Proceed to unload ... driver ... Suddenly ... the ground shifted. The dock trembled. Cracks split across the concrete, and massive, bloated hands, gray, veiny. Knuckles scraped raw burst up from beneath the surface. Fingers as thick as tree trunks clawed at the tires, wrapping around the rig, the trailer, the cab. And finally ... the driver's door. No ... no. New ooh. I screamed, slamming at the gear shift, yanking at the wheel, but it was too late. The door exploded open, those hands gripping tight around my torso. Ice-cold fingers digging into my ribs as I was yanked clean out of the seat like I weighed nothing. The thing in the passenger seat leaned out, watching, that hollow gaze never blinking as it whispered, "Dispatch. Thanks you ... for your service ... I kicked. I screamed. I clawed at those massive, cold, pulsing fingers wrapped around my ribs, trying to dig my boots into something. Anything but the dock wasn't concrete no more. It was flesh, soft, squishy, warm. It pulsed under me like the belly of some monstrous thing that had been sleeping beneath the world since before time started. The dispatcher stood up from its booth now, revealing how massive it really was, taller than any building I'd ever seen. Its stitched together faces moaned, some crying, some laughing, some muttering in voices that didn't match their mouths. Its arms uncoiled, each one dragging a chain made of bone links and rusted hooks, swinging them in slow, heavy arcs like it was preparing to reel something in. "Driver," it groaned, voice crackling over 1,000 mouths. "You are part of the freight ... now. Like hell I am." I bellowed, slamming my boot straight into the hand holding me. Didn't matter. My foot sank in like kicking raw meat, and a shudder rippled through the whole limb, but it only tightened, squeezing my ribs so hard I heard something pop. I thrashed, hands grabbing for anything mirror frame, door handle, but the rig itself was changing. The chrome peeled away like skin, revealing veins, arteries, muscle beneath. The headlights blinked, not flashed ... blinked, like eyes. And the grill? It split straight down the middle ... into teeth. Jagged, crooked, dripping black ooze like saliva. My truck ... My beautiful truck was becoming one of them. No. I gasped, but the dispatcher's chains were already flying. One hook buried itself deep into my thigh, ripping straight through muscle with a crack of bone. Another pierced my shoulder, yanking me back, stretching me wide like I was about to be hung up for slaughter. Blood poured hot down my side, mixing with the thick black muck that coated the dock. The thing that had been sitting in my passenger seat all this time, it stood now, tall, taller than I realized, limbs stretching longer than should be possible, body unraveling like rope coming loose from a spool. Its face split vertically, opening wide, revealing a tunnel of teeth and emptiness inside. Every driver ... pays, the road ... in the end ... It sang in this twisted, hollow voice that echoed through the entire cavern. Every mile ... costs ... more. And you know ... I felt the chains tighten, pulling, flesh tearing, vision going blurry, stars dancing in my eyes as the dispatcher dragged me toward this gaping hole in the center of the dock. A maw ... a mouth, a bottomless, pulsating mouth with rows of teeth spiraling down into infinity. "No, ooh!" I roared, summoning every ounce of strength left in me. I reached for the only thing I had left, the knife strapped to my boot, slipped it free with a flick, gripped it tight, and with one last desperate howl, I plunged it into the hand clutching my side. The flesh sizzled. A shriek ripped through the cavern. Not just from the hand, but from everything. The dispatcher screamed. The dock, the trucks, even the sky of flesh above, shrieked like one giant wounded beast. The grip loosened just enough. I dropped like dead weight, slamming into the wet, pulsing floor, rolling toward the rig that was still halfway. Itself. Halfway monster. Get up, get up, get up, get up. I roared at myself, blood pouring from my leg, my shoulders screaming in agony. I scrambled, boots slipping in the muck, yanking open the driver's door, the only thing that still looked normal, and threw myself inside. The rig was humming, breathing, vibrating like it was alive, but the key was still there. By some damn miracle, the key was still in the ignition. Come on, come on. I roared, twisting it with everything I had left. For a moment, nothing. Just silence. Then, vroom. The engine roared louder than it ever, head spitting black smoke, and something thick and red from the exhaust. The truck shuddered, trembled, tires spinning against the fleshy floor. Go go go. I slammed the pedal, and the rig lurched forward, plowing straight through the chain dragging behind me, snapping it clean in half. The dispatcher screamed, one of its stitched mouths unzipping wide and spewing a cloud of screeching within shadows. But I didn't look back. Didn't dare. I just drove. Drove like hell itself was hanging onto my bumper, because, buddy, it was.